Welcome back, everyone. Well, in an era where it seems like all we get is bad news, have we got good news? You might recall earlier in the week, we did an interview with Lisa Mitzen regarding some really great news about Ed and Lisa, together with Sonny and Bonaccio and Mike Ingersoll, LA Group, and some others, to help Shelters of Saratoga build a new facility. And joining me today is one of our favorite guests, Mike Finocchi, who's the Executive Director of Shelters of Saratoga. Welcome back, Mike.
Thank you.
Great to have you here. Boy, this is really good news to report, right?
Absolutely, without a doubt. It's amazing.
Yeah,
is what
it is
it is.
amazing.
We've been smiles. It's a lot of work ahead of us, but the end product will be well worth.
All the effort.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Now, just so that we can frame Shelters of Saratoga for you, in case you don't know, just a little bit about the organization.
Sure. Shelters of Saratoga, we are the only homeless shelter in 3 counties, Saratoga, Warren, and Washington County. And we have 2 houses, one on 14 Walworth, one on 20 Walworth. Between both houses, we can house up to 35 individuals, and that's with a couple emergency cots. Individuals come to us, whether they're referred by an agency, a hospital, self-referral, and everybody's connected with case management. They have to have a service plan that's put in place. It's a alcohol and drug-free shelter. Everyone's given a chore to do, and the end goal is to get these individuals hooked up with whatever services they may need, whether it be mental health or substance abuse, as well as finding employment and finding housing.
You know, you hear the phrase, not a handout, but a hand up, and I always think that that's so appropriate
Correct.
with this. And I want to swing back on that because it isn't just a handout. Someone who is at shelters has to work with a case manager.
Correct.
The service that he's referring to is if they have emotional needs or they might have drug needs or alcohol needs. Could be any number of different needs. And the one thing that you do that I think is really very important, they give them an address.
Correct.
Something that you and I would take for granted.
Absolutely.
They get an address so that as they're getting their life together and they go on a job interview, they go to a doctor's appointment, whatever, there's a physical address, which actually means quite a bit, doesn't it?
It does. Many of these individuals can't receive services because they don't have an address. So obviously once they're with us in the shelter, now their address is either 14 or 20 Walworth, and that gets the ball rolling, gets the process rolling.
And if you don't think this is necessary, Mike was telling me you house up to 35 individuals, really max about 33 individuals a night, and it's capacity every single night. So that gives you just a framing for the need. Now, you're hearing Code Blue mentioned a lot in this arrangement here. What's the connection?
Well, Code Blue started 4 years ago because of a tragedy that happened when Nancy Pitts had died on the streets and froze to death. So Mayor-elect at the time, Joanne Yepsen, got together a bunch of nonprofits, the clergy, a bunch of service groups, got together and formed a little steering committee coalition to get Code Blue up and running. So with the help of Liz Hitz out of Albany, she runs Hattis down in Albany, they started it within a couple weeks' time. Okay, it was run by a steering committee the first 2 years. We, Shelters of Saratoga, took it over. Last year was our first year that we had it because we felt as a steering committee that it should be connected to an agency so that it had some sustainability moving forward in the future. The way I looked at it and the way we looked at it is that Code Blue program needs to be here when we're all not here anymore. When we're done and retired, this program needs to continue. So for the last 2 years, Shelters of Saratoga has been running it. We were in Salvation Army the past 2 years. This year we are at Soul Saving Station. We're very grateful that they stepped up and housed us because with the executive order of 151, which states that at 32 degrees all the homeless now have to be off the street, it was hard to find the locations. Salvation Army, we needed something that would be available to us 24/7 basically when needed. And Salvation Army couldn't do it because it interfered with some of their daytime programming, which we completely understand. So, like I said, Soul Saving Station had a space available and they stepped up and they're allowing us to use this space.
You know, and if you're curious as to the difference between Code Blue and shelters, Code Blue is what's considered to be a low demand shelter. which means that you're in trouble, you're stumbling, whatever it is, you can get in there overnight, and really it's to save people's lives. I mean, long and short of it, that's really what it's about.
It is.
But the whole idea is to then work with these people to try to find out what's wrong, if there's a way to help, shepherd them into the shelters of Saratoga. Right?
And that's great that you mentioned that, because over the past 4 years that Code Blue has been in existence, and we're not done with this season yet either, but
That's right.
for the past 3 years and now this year, we've transitioned 36 individuals from Code Blue into shelters of Saratoga, and we've seen 4 of those individuals show back up at Code Blue. So basically out of 36 individuals, 32 have found employment, found housing on their own.
Oh, my, that's terrific.
Yeah.
One other thing, and we want to have you back again
Sure.
in the spring. I want to check in on how things are going with this.
Absolutely.
But Mike, very just the way he is, he said, I said, what was it like when you got the phone call from Ed and Lisa? And he said, well, we didn't know exactly what they wanted to meet about. We thought, oh, they help us raise money, and, you know, the Mitsons are very generous. And he said, they showed up, and he said, we were so in shock, we couldn't even talk. And one of your board members said, don't take that as, you know, a sign that we're not grateful or interested,
Correct.
right?
Our jaws were just hitting the floor.
Well, it's an enormous outreach from people right in our community to help other people in the community.
It certainly is.
So, Mike, great to have you in. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And as when the weather does get a little bit warmer, I do want to talk and, you know, find out how the progress is going on.
Absolutely.
Okay, good to see you.
Good to see you. Thank you.
To see this interview again, you can head to our website, looktvonline.com.